Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, it's that time of year to be putting away the mowers, but I thought I'd give a little quick review of my thoughts on the Ferris SRS C2 stand-on zero turn. Soft ride stand-on. That's what the SRS stands for. I've had this mower I probably used it 2 months, and things started slowing down. I bought it in September, so I've had it about 3 months, but I've only used it for 2. I'm going to be comparing it since I don't have a lot of experience with a zero turn. A lot of you might be coming from a walk behind and need to upgrade, and I'll be comparing to like a walk behind like that. So the mower, this one I opted for the 25.5 horse Kawasaki, mostly because I've heard that fuel injected, well, it's great, but once it's out of warranty, it can get expensive to work on. So that was the biggest reason. And also there's some other little nitpicky things that has to be done with it, so I just went ahead and went with the carbureted engine. It's got the ICD deck cutting system. This is a 52-inch model. They also come in 61-inch and 36. I do not believe if the 36 has a ICD deck or not, but they do look fun. In fact, these are pretty fun. They don't beat you up as bad as a walk behind for long periods. Now, under a short period of time, if it's a smooth, small yard, it doesn't make any difference. Honestly, I prefer a walk behind for a small yard anyway. But a huge plus on this mower is the tire size. I haven't used it during a lot of wet conditions because I bought it in the fall. But when it has been wet, it has not rutted up quite as bad as what a walk behind would. That's a newer model. My older ones had narrower tires, but it seemed to do alright. It does tend to, I don't know if it's the tires or the mower, but it does tend to, when it's a little slick, when you try to turn, skid a little bit. But zero turns do that too. So, I mean, it is what it is. Mower weighs about 900 pounds, which is another reason I opted for this over a zero turn, because the commercial zero turns weigh upwards of 1,200 pounds, even more. So that was another plus compared to a zero turn. I like about this, it has an 8-gallon fuel tank, but that 25.5 horse sucks it right up. So it's really about, you have to refuel as much as you would a walk behind with like a 5-gallon tank. You can usually get about, on a day of heavy cutting, probably 1 day out of the tank. You know, maybe a day and a half, depending on what you do, what you have. What I installed on this was a chute blocker made by Trimmer Trap. I don't like the chutes, like this one still has it on. I gotta put a chute blocker, but it has Ferris's rubber flap. Exmark has something similar, you know, Hustler, all those guys. But I put that on there to keep from mainly spraying houses, cars, and flower beds. It also helps when you clean up, you can put it at a little bit of an angle, which is why I like this one more than like a grass flap. You can leave it at a little bit of an angle. The spring needs to be tightened up. But what that does is it directs the airflow out. So when you're blowing off a sidewalk or mulching leaves, a lot of times it works really well. You can direct things a little better. I wouldn't say it minimizes blowing unless it's a big property. And we have a couple big ones where I use that to blow off the street or the huge driveway like a couple have. But yeah, it works. It's fast, goes about 10 miles an hour, full speed. I usually only go full speed on the big properties. But yeah, it cuts phenomenal. I haven't used it in a lot of tall, wet grass, so we will see in the spring how that will turn out. Simple layout, you have your hydro 20W50 oil, which is standard, so to speak, among Ferris's. The new ones apparently have this funky weight. Not going to get into that. Your battery's mounted right here. Which I don't particularly like that stuff mounted where it's at, but you know, I feel like they maybe could have put the hydro reservoirs on like under here on both sides, but then again, I'm not an engineer. One thing I do like is this is your controls. You have a speed adjustment here. So right now I have it set full forward, and you can see right here there's 3 different spots. You can put that in, and it'll limit you to only going so far with the controls, whereas if it's full speed, you go full speed like that. I usually leave it at full speed. Most of my guys do too. Just feather it back far up the needed speed. Parking brake's really convenient right there. I do like that. These are comfortable, I guess. They're nice thick rubber padded steel bars. Your throttle, choke, PTO. One thing I do like is Ferris has this dual PTO switch, I guess you could call it. So say you're mowing along, the blades are on, and you step off the platform, the blades disengage, but it doesn't cut the engine. You step back on, you pick up your trash, whatever, and then you pull this, and then you go on. So you don't actually have to shut it off every time you get off the mower. Their walk-behinds are now that way too, and that's a great feature, I think. You wouldn't think it's that big a deal, but when you have to hop on and off the mower 20 times during the day to pick up some trash, it helps out. It has a fuel gauge, but it's down, it's kind of hard to see. It's down this little hole right through there. I mean, it's really not something you need to look at constantly, so, you know, this flips up, and you can see it right there. So, that's nice. You know, when when it's parked on the trailer in the morning getting ready to leave, I usually just flip this up and I can see in there how much fuel, if I need to fuel this up before the day or not. What I also like about this over a lot of other brands is the height adjustment. This, I believe, is used on their zero turns. You have your 1/4 inch increments, and you pull this pin out, you put it in where you need to put it. Lower the deck, you just do that. Lowers it to higher it, you know, before you load it up on the trailer. There you go. It works out wonderfully, in my opinion. I do like it. The only thing I don't like is this thing has a tendency, when you hit a bump, because the deck is a floating deck, what happens is you hit a bump and it hits so hard it comes back up and clicks up. So then you were mowing at 3.5 and now you're mowing at 5 after you hit a bump, and if you don't notice it, you got to mow over that spot again. So I wish that's something they could put, like a spring when it's out of warranty. I'm going to put a dual spring or something here that'll keep this down. If it bounces, that's fine, that's understandable. Problem is, I guess, I don't know if it's too light of a deck or what the deal is, but it clicks back so easily, just goes up. So I feel like if they did something where it only can go up is if you press this down, I think that would be a really important feature. Really, that's my only gripe about this mower. The platform has their patented suspensioning, which is found on their zero turns too. Ride's pretty nice. It's still bumpy. You get on a bumpy yard, it's bumpy no matter what. No mower is going to smooth it out totally. But yeah, it's good. It has your wheelie bars, so when you go to pop that wheelie, you're not going backwards. But yeah, you know, overall it's a really great mower. It's definitely more efficient than a zero turn, in my opinion. It doesn't take up a lot of space. That's why I like it. It's short. I call it chubby. It's actually not as long as a walk behind, at least Ferris's walk behinds. So that's a really nice thing. You could probably fit 4 of these on a 16-foot trailer, probably. It's really easy to turn sideways on a trailer too, because even though it is big and it's heavy, it's because of its short nature. Being the gas tank's where it's at, it's really good on hills, surprisingly. The only sketchy part is when you have to turn down a hill, but that's probably my user error. You really should turn up a hill with any big mower. But yeah, I really like it. I think it would be a great addition to any lawn care fleet or company. If you're looking for a mower to start out, I would not get this. I would still get a walk behind, because a walk behind will do hills better than this ever will. Just their weight, their balance, their low center of gravity. Unlike this, you're standing on the platform and you got, with me on it, it's about 1,100 pounds rolling across the ground. If you turn on a wet slope, you're just gonna slide right down. So I was able to get this for $600 off, including tax. That down to $7,000 from $8,000, I do believe. So I paid like $7,400 out the door and got the dealer treated me good. I got a free shirt, free hat, which is pretty cool. $40 off that shoe blocker and a free 6-pack of steel 2-cycle oil. So it worked out really good. But yeah, 2-year commercial warranty. That's the 2017 Ferris SRS Z2.